Hey guys, I want to tell you a story about the time that Fritzi and I, one of many times to be fair, but we met an angel face to face. Now, I've tried to explain to people many times that God can only do things in the limitation of human free will. He can't do anything. That's why we have the atrocities on Earth. Free will is the gift and the curse of this species. And of course, we'd just be automated robots without it. But we can choose to do good or to do bad. We can choose to start making those choices, and it starts in the depiction of the story of Adam and Eve. So, if you choose to walk the more light path, then angels come in many forms. They can come in animals, they can come in humans. I get a lot of birds, as you know. I had Spooky 2, the bush baby, which was undoubtedly angelic force for me. And the way that works is, as I've said over and over, angles of light carry photons, and photons carry information and messages. So on an angle of light, the message does come. The angels are messengers of light. So all it takes is for you to have the right mind, the clear enough mind, and to be willing to be of service to God, and He will make use of you in that way. So I'm aware of this, and I know when it's even happening to me as well. Now, like any other human being, when I decided I wanted to ask Fritzi to marry me, it was a very nervous experience for me. And I had an engagement ring made specially, and it incorporated a personal story that we have, referring to two moons, and one moon holding the other moon, the larger moon holding the smaller moon, and Fritzi and I metaphorically being those moons. And this happened the very first weeks we met in Tanzania. This happened in a beautiful event while we were out together, and we were having a story time. So you don't need to know the full personal ins and outs of it. But I had this ring especially made, and there's a feather on it as well. And I had it made in England with a local jeweler. And it's nothing flash, nothing, there's not a big diamond, but for Fritzi it means more than the world. Now, I had it in my pocket for a month and I hadn't asked Fritzi. And I kept trying to find the best time, etc. And I was getting frustrated. And we went to help a friend of ours to look after another children's home whilst she was away. And we went to stay there and sleep there and make sure everything was okay, make sure the children were okay, make sure that the guests that she had were okay. And I had this ring in my back pocket still, and I still had not asked her, obviously, hence it being in my pocket. But I was thinking I should ask her that day, but I'd also thought it other days and it hadn't happened. Then a man came, a Muslim guy actually, and he called in. He was quite wealthy, driving a car, quite wealthy for Tanzania, and he told us that he was working for a big telecoms company, and I don't even know his name. And he said, "I've come in to see the work that you're doing here." And I said, "Well, it's not our home, but we do have a home." And he said he wanted to look around. However, what happened, he didn't look around. He came in and he started talking to Fritzi and I, and from nowhere, he started giving us a speech on the importance of marriage. I kid you not. He was telling us how profoundly grounding it was for him to have his wife, how important it was to have that union before God, and how it had changed his life, and how it was the foundation for everything that he does within his day, were his wife and children. He gave this speech, it lasted maybe 4 minutes. And then he looked at his watch and he said, "You know what? I don't have time to look around, I'll come another time. But I just wanted to call in because I was passing on the road and I saw the sign and I had an overwhelming urge that I should pull in." And off he went. Now he gave me his number. And after about an hour past, the sun was setting, and I took Fritzi to a beautiful botanical garden that this home had built in the hope of opening a butterfly house to bring tourism. And unfortunately it never got licensed and never took off the ground. And it was stunning. Tropical flowers, big wooden white archways, and over the archways are pink flowers growing over them, a big African sunset. And after this speech, I was dumbfounded, and I said, okay, now I have to do this. So I stopped Fritzi and I said very calmly, Fritzi. And she responded to me by saying, please don't ask me that now. My head was, and what she meant was, we were tired, we'd been working all day, we hadn't had a shower, and it was just, we felt a bit grimy. And I said to her, look around you. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Take a moment and make it perfect. And she literally fell to her bum on the floor because she was so overwhelmed and crying and moved, and she couldn't stand. She was so dizzy. And of course she said yes. And after she stood up, I then went down on one knee, as you traditionally do in England. I don't know about the rest of the world. And I put the ring on her finger. And the only reason all of that truly happened that day, with that stunning memory of this beautiful sunset and where we were, and I'm so grateful it was there, is because this man pulled in. Because I'd waited for the perfect moment and it wasn't coming. And I realised it's because you have to take that moment and make it perfect. And I'm glad I did, because, I mean, I would have asked Fritzi eventually, but now we had that beautiful story behind it. And of course, it's made me what feels like the happiest man on earth to be married to such an amazing woman, and to watch how strong she is as a mother. For all she's younger than me is just unbelievable. She's much stronger in her parenting skills than I am. She's really just much more loving and nurturing, and God put the right two people together, shall we say, because to do what we do, it needed a special woman, and Fritzi is that woman. So that was the time. Oh, I took his number and I tried to call him to tell him, and every time I called him, the number, for all it was stored as a different number with a different name, would connect to my friend Isaac, the chief of the Maasai. Still to this day, when I go to his number in my phone and I dial it, it connects to Isaac, the chief of the Maasai, my dear friend. But the number on the screen is, I'm not kidding, the number on the screen is not Isaac's number, it's this guy. And it only happened in such a magical way, in such a magical setting, because an angel came, either physically as a man, or a photon went into a human being, which is an angel whispering to those who are willing to offer their life in service to God, are willing to surrender their free will, willing to surrender their sense of self. And he came, and perhaps he just allowed an angel to guide him to pull off the road that day. I presume that's what happened. But if it weren't for that, then we wouldn't have had that stunning experience of proposal, and we wouldn't have this beautiful illustrated book that our friends had made for our wedding. I'll one day try to get pictures of the book in a video so you can all see. Anyway, that was all. Keep an eye out for angels, guys, but above all, be careful who you entertain, because you may be entertaining angels, as it is spoken. But above all, make sure that you yourself can be an angel that is entertained. And to do that, you have to agree to put yourself to one side and let that angel work through you. And to do that, you must take no thought for tomorrow and get very still. And listen to those whispers, because they'll become a shout. And then when they become a shout, you'll know which way to go. And in doing that, you can be used to provide profound faith and messages to humanity in your waking day. But you must hear those nudges and whispers, which is why you must get quiet, which is why you need to fast, etc. And not just fast from food, but from media too. Remember that. Fasting is not just abstaining from food. You must abstain from anything that holds your attention. Entertainment. Anything that entertains to hold your attention. That is not God in the stillness of speaking with God in prayer. That's also abstinence. That's fasting. And when you do that, photons on angles of light can embody you. And if you stare at the false light, they cannot. If you stare at a screen, they cannot. You just, if you look at a screen, you've got to hope someone's bringing those photons from the natural light into the message of the screen that you're looking at. So, God bless, guys. I believe in angels. I know them by now. I know them. And I've even seen them come into me and tell me, turn left, turn right. And you should be in a state like that too, because the planet would be a stunning place if we all did. God bless, guys. Bye.